Yo, what's good, everybody? Hopefully, you can hear me and you enjoyed that video. So, today I am going to talk for just a moment, and hopefully, you'll hang out. Um, Hopefully, you're not too busy doing anything crazy, and hopefully, you can hear me. I'm gonna make sure that I got sound. What's good, everybody? Yeah, I have sound. So, want to kind of chat for a minute about this thought of the mountaintop experience. Um, and this is something that I've heard about for a long time in my life, dealing with the mountaintop experience. It's something that we often hear, especially if you were raised in church. You hear this idea of like, man, being on top, being at the peak, being up there on the mountain. And the fact of the matter is, I've never been on a mountain. I don't know if you've been on the mountain, but I've never been on the mountain. If you have climbed a mountain, I would love to know by you posting that I have or have not been on a mountain, especially not the top of a mountain. I know for me, I've never really wanted to climb a mountain, but I understand why people do. It just hasn't been my lane. But if you're going to hang out with me as well, say that you're going to be here. I'm going to share some stuff that I hope will help you to be able to get to a place in your life where you understand what the mountaintop is, what that experience will be like for you. And I'm not going to share from a point that I've climbed a literal mountain. I might one day. I highly doubt it. But again, if you've climbed a mountain or plan to climb a mountain, just comment and let me know that you've done that before. But here we go. So the mountaintop. The mountaintop is this place of beauty. It's a place where, in most cases, you get to see from a different vantage point, from a different place than anyone else around you at that point. You're able to see the view. You're able to see the perspective. You're able to see what the birds see. You're able to see and take in the beauty of the creation that God has made this earth to be. Depending on how high the mountain is, determines how much you see, your vantage point, your perspective. And if you've never been on a plane, even or been able to look out the window of a plane and just see the clouds, see this amazing earth, take a flight, do something to see perspective. But the mountaintop experience is one where the air is different, the vibe is different. But to get to the mountaintop, for some people, is a thrill to climb the mountain, to feel the pressures that come with climbing, the joys that come with climbing. But at the most, the excitement of the top of the mountain is that moment that you say, I made it. So the mountaintop experience, especially in church culture, has been one that deals with like the happiness, the joy, the bright side, the gladness, the excitement, the happiness of saying, "Oh, this has worked out." But the mountaintop experience is sometimes even compared to what we see in social media, what we see in our world. We see people that seem as though they're living the mountaintop experience. They are living above maybe the means or the perspective that you have. They have access to different things. So for a moment, consider the mountaintop experience, this moment where you have access to see everything and have a perspective like no one else at that moment. So your mountaintop experience for you personally may be accomplishing a goal that you set out to do, accomplishing a commitment to something that you've been desiring to do, but you just haven't hit that point. The mountaintop experience is one that does not come without struggle, without a fight, without learning, without taking losses, without even slipping sometimes. So if you think of your life as a big picture, not just a moment in time, but think of your life as this huge picture. And in this huge picture, every stroke is a different movement. Every stroke is an addition to what you've done. Every stroke is literally creating the life that you want to live, to get you to that mountaintop, to get you to that that perspective that you might not have had before. So this morning, I was considering the fact that in our lives, we often count our losses. Sometimes we feel as if, man, I made a mistake. I did this, this happened, this is going on, whatever. And these losses in our life, or these L's, as we say, can be overwhelming, can take us to places that our minds shouldn't go. But it's interesting that we sometimes live in our losses. We live in our L's, we live in our mistakes, we live in those challenges. And feel free to come in. Let me know that you're going to hang out if you're going to hang out. Thank you for joining those who are here. But I'm going to talk, and hopefully you hear something that will help you to live life better in a time where things seem like they're out of control. So, anywho, the mountaintop. So, the mountaintop experience and the mountaintop life for you will sometimes be a matter of, I can see the peak of the mountain, but the peak of the mountain is so far away that it doesn't feel realistic that I can stand on the peak. Even biblically, we have a lot of scriptures that talk about mountain experiences. Jesus went into the mountains. So his experience in the mountain was different than your experience maybe on the mountaintop. Moses' experience in the mountain was much different than you. But we've seen the mountaintop experience and thought of the mountaintop experience as this amazing moment. But for any of us that want to live life on the top, we have to climb. There's a saying that says, everybody wants to make it to heaven, but no one wants to die. In my life, in your life, there's opportunity to live on top of your circumstance. There's opportunity to live on top of your perspectives. There's an opportunity to live on top of your paradigms by being able to move to the top of the mountain in your own personal life. Now, this is the thing about getting to the top of the mountain. Oftentimes, we compare the mountaintop experience to other people's to our view of other people's mountaintop experience. So you can see someone that is on top of the mountain. You can see them waving up there. And at that moment, to them, you look like very tiny and they look very tiny because of the distance. And they're on the mountaintop and you're at the bottom. It may be the valley. It may just be the bottom of the mountain. But at this point, you're not at the top of the mountain. So when we compare their journey up the mountain, we have to take into consideration, Warren, it's a lonely experience. And I'm going to talk about that lonely experience in a minute. But at the mountaintop, when we look at people, when we look at their successes, when we look at what they have, whether they gained it through hard work or gained it through investment or gained it through whatever, everybody, to get to the mountaintop or to explore the mountain is not easy. It's not exciting. You're doing the journey and you're pushing up to the mountain to get to the top for a moment of experience that you have to say, this moment was worth the climb. This moment was worth the struggle. This moment was worth the fight. And sometimes, once for us personally, our life is a matter of climbing a mountain, and we never know when we're going to hit our peak. But of course, setting goals will help you know when you hit it. But for many of us, we haven't set enough goals to say, man, my mountaintop is $1 million in revenue. My mountaintop is health. My mountaintop is family. My mountaintop is love. My mountaintop is peace. Your mountaintop experience doesn't have to be some grandiose thing. Your mountaintop experience may just be getting out of depression. So a lot of us, even you that are watching, let me know if you're gonna hang out. But a lot of us are on this journey to the mountaintop, but we get weary in the climb. We get weary because sometimes as you climb a mountain, though I've never climbed a mountain personally, I believe what I'm saying to be true. I feel like as you climb the mountain, you will get tired. You will get restless. You will get to a point where you're like, you know what? I should have tried a smaller mountain. This mountain is too big. This is too unrealistic for me to make it to the top. The top doesn't seem like it's getting any closer. And the reason the top doesn't seem like it's getting any closer is because as you climb, the altitude requires you to breathe differently. The altitude causes you to hold on a little bit tighter. The altitude causes you to change the way you maneuver. So let's apply this mountaintop, this growth, this movement to our lives. As you consider where you want to go in life, where we want to go in life, we have to take into this thought that says, well, I'm not ready for the $1,000,000 mountaintop because I haven't conquered the $100 mountaintop. I'm not ready for the marital mountaintop because I haven't been able to successfully date for 2 months. I'm not ready for the business mountaintop because I can't figure out how to send invoices. I'm not ready for whatever your experience is. It may be that you need to create little molehills and little small climbs before you try to take on the grand mountain. And you will get there, but your smaller mountain experiences, your smaller success, instead of counting the L's, count the W's. Instead of counting those, you say, man, today my mountaintop is going to be to exercise for 10 minutes because I know I see people on their mountaintop exercising for an hour. Or today my mountaintop is going to be to send 5 emails because I know that people that are on their mountaintop are sending 10 emails. You have to figure out what your big mountain looks like, but first conquer the small mountains, because you're sometimes, again, as you climb the mountain, the air gets different. The higher you go, the experience feels different. So you have to create a plan for yourself that says, man, I know what I see people doing. I know how their top experience looks, but I really don't know the journey that got them there. And whatever your industry is, whatever your life is, whatever your experience is, there's this moment where you have to say, okay, I'm not getting where I want to get because I'm trying to bite off too much. I'm trying to bite off more than I can chew. I'm trying to do more than what the season calls for. And that's why we write the vision, but then we break the big vision down into baby steps. We break the big vision into moments that we can do, and then we push ourselves a little bit harder. So the push comes when you get to the middle of the mountain and realize that, whoa, I thought I had gone further than I am, but this peak is still so far away. You have 2 options. You can go back down the mountain, which may be as hard as climbing up the rest of the way, or you can climb up the rest of the way. So when you get to the top, the experience has to be measured out. The experience has to be planned well so that when you get to the top, you can really enjoy the moment. Because the mountaintop, even in a literal mountaintop, like, you're not about to camp up there. You still got to go back down and then conquer your next mountain. So the mountaintop experience can sometimes be that, what was said earlier, it can be a lonely experience. Depending on your perspective, depending on your shifts, depending on what you have done. So that's my conversation today. There's way more that I can talk about, but I don't want to overdo this moment. But the mountaintop is available for you, but you have to take it one step at a time. All right, y'all.